Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna show you how to weather tanks like this one. I used a 40k tank, but you can pretty much apply this technique to any historical model or whichever figure you'd like to have or give a really muddy and messy look. So the pigments I used for this was the MIG pigments Track Brown, Concrete and Europe Dust. So stay tuned and enjoy the tutorial. So let's get on with the weathering of this tank. As you can see, I've covered up my workspace here with some large papers because this process can get really messy. What we want to do to start with is to make a mix with some pigments, and I do this in these plastic cups, as you can see here. For this I'm going to use a lighter dust called Concrete, and I'm just going to get some pigment out of the box here. That's gonna be about it. About this much. I'm also gonna mix in some European dust just to get some nice color variations in there. Here we go. And in this mix I'm now gonna add some matte varnish just to bind the pigment together and also to give it a really nice matte look when it's dry. You could of course use other pigment mediums, but I like to cut corners and I like to use matte varnish for this. I add about that much, and to finish it up we also want to add a couple of drops of water just to get some nice flow to it. For this I just use an old worn out brush. You see it starts turning into this nice mud. I'm gonna add some more water now. You want to get to a good, nice, watery consistency of this paint. And this is the consistency you're looking for. See, it's like a nice, watery mud. And now it is time to grab an old used toothbrush, and for this I use also a plastic glove because this hand will get messy since it's gonna spray the pigment wash on to the model like this. So you just get a nice bit of mud on your brush. You angle the tank to make it look like the spray has been coming from below in the direction of the tank is moving, rather. Then you just hold it like this, aim the tank and spray on. Go get some more. Work your way back from front to back. Also here at the back is where a lot of mud would have splashed up, so we just splash the back of the tank as much as we can. Not sure if you could see, but this is the result. Don't worry about not getting too much of the mud onto the tank, as we're gonna go over it again with a darker mud. Of course, up front here, where some mud has been splashed up underneath the tank as well. So, when you're happy with the lighter mud, we can now move on, and I'm now I'm gonna get some of the track brown pigment and just pour it into this mud we have here, mud mix rather. Add a bit more water. Mix it up. And you see now it's gonna turn into this chocolate brown fresh mud. And this, we're just gonna smear it on all over the tracks and the bottom of the tank. So now I just take out an old, rough, worn out brush like this. Load up my brush with some of the mud mix, and then I'm just gonna go all over the tracks like this. Like so. Don't worry if you mess up, we're gonna clean up the edges after we're done. It's a bit hard to paint on camera. I'm not used to holding the brush in this angle, but it's gonna work out. Then I'm just gonna stipple this darker mud onto the bottom part of the tank, like so. We can imagine that this fresh mud has been splashed up as the tank drives through trenches and so. Get some on the track guards on the side here. Stipple it like so, and on the bottom of the tracks, or on of the side actually. Stipple it on. Some track guards, same process as before, and some on the back at the bottom. Really messy, guys. Touch, I'm just going to go over with the same technique as we did before and just splash a little bit of this dark mix onto the sides of the tank. There we go. And leave it to dry for a while now. And just before it's completely dry, we're gonna come back with this cotton top here and wipe off the excess. Okay, so now it's almost completely dry. I'm gonna go in now with this cotton top and just clean up. You see it like here on the front track guard, I'm not that happy with. If you see like any brush strokes or anything that doesn't look like a random pattern, just clean that up. And you can work around with the mud like this here as well and move it into position if you find any splotches that you don't like. perfect example on the front track guard here. I don't like this like pool of mud, so I'm just gonna move it around with the coat. And you can work around the pigments as long as they're not dry to make them look really good. When you're done, give it a good spin to make sure that you're happy with everything on it, and then put it back to dry, and then we're gonna seal it with some matte varnish.